Hello and welcome to the France 24 interview. In Myanmar, the turmoil unleashed by the February 1st military coup shows no sign of abating. The death toll is now well over 200. Many political leaders are behind bars, first and foremost Aung San Suu Kyi, and the regime has imposed martial laws in several key areas of the country. On February 26, Kyaw Moe Tun, Myanmar's permanent representative to the United Nations, stunned the world when he delivered a speech to the General Assembly, during which he denounced the coup, urged the world to act, and raised the three-finger salute, a symbol of the anti-junta resistance borrowed from the Hunger Games films. The regime immediately decided to remove him as its UN ambassador, and he has been charged with high treason. However, he refuses to budge, and he joins us from the Myanmar mission to the UN in New York. Thank you very much for being with us.
Thank you so much for giving this opportunity.
I want to ask you to go back to this February 26 speech. I understand you made the decision on your own. Your family didn't even know about it. Why did you make such a drastic gesture?
The 26th of February, this is the day that I delivered the statement at the UN General Assembly. But, before delivering the statement, the decision I already made by myself, because 1st of February, the day that the military staged coup d'etat in Myanmar, so all of us, including me, we felt we lost our future. Especially our young generation, definitely they also feel the same, and they lost their future because we don't want to go back to the system that we used to be in before. So that is why since the 1st of February is already in my mind that we have to do something for the country. I have to do something for the country and the people of Myanmar. So I waited for a few days to have this kind of opportunity to deliver the statement, and I like to have it the maximum impact from that occasion. That is why I did it on the 26th of February at the UN General Assembly.
You have been charged, I understand, with high treason. What is your reaction to those charges? Very serious charges, obviously.
I should say thank you. Because I'm proud of it. This is as very clear that when the military coup took place on 1st of February, since then millions of people came out on the streets and expressed their disappointment with the military coup. They demanding for the democracy, they demanding for the release of our leaders. Aung San Suu Kyi, President U Win Myint, and the other political leaders and the other civil activists. Since then, people have already have a strong desire to bring back the democracy to the people of Myanmar. So once they have this kind of charges against me, I feel proud of it. I'm totally with the people of Myanmar who are longing for the democracy that should prevail in Myanmar. So I'm proud of it.
Last week, the UN Security Council issued a presidential statement condemning the violence against the protester. It was unanimously approved by all 15 Security Council members, including China. But is this enough? I mean, you called on the world to act by any means in your speech, but is the world doing enough? Because the violence continues day in and day out.
First of all, I'd like to thank all member states of the UN Security Council for the unified voice to have the presidential statement on the 11th of March. So because on that statement, it's condemned the violence, but at the same time, as I mentioned, because we don't want to lose any more life of our young people. So that is why we still need stronger and immediate action from the UN Security Council to stop the killing of innocent civilians in Myanmar. So that is why whatever the strongest possible action coming from the international community, including the UN Security Council, will help us, will protect us, the people of Myanmar, who feel helpless.
Yes, one option, if it's not possible to go through the Security Council because some permanent members might block further action, is sanctions. We've seen the US adopt sanctions. We're seeing the European Union adopt sanctions. Do you believe that this is the way? Do you believe this is enough to make the regime notice and change its ways? Because the regime has said, we have our roadmap and we don't care about sanctions or whatever action the international community takes.
You know, we always ask for the targeted sanction. You know, definitely that kind of targeted sanctions are useful for the people of Myanmar to fight against the military regime. So we need the targeted sanction from the international community, whether that is the collective one or the individual one. Whatever way is definitely we think that is helpful. But we need, whenever have the targeted sanction, we need to make sure that the spillover effect on the people of Myanmar should be minimal, should be as less as possible. And then at the same time, we still need the stronger one, stronger targeted sanction. At the same time, we need the coordinated, targeted, and tougher sanction from the international community. So I agree with the special reporter on the situation of human rights in Myanmar, Mr. Thomas Indru. He made the statement at the Human Rights Council saying that if the group of like-minded countries come out together to put that kind of targeted sanction on the military regime, that will be what we see is very helpful. Now, I think the international community also should look at the financial flow into the military regime. Those all financial flow should be cut off as quick as possible and as immediately as possible. So that's the way that we need the coordinated action from the international community. Whoever can make it, please do it now. That is, time is really essence of for the people of Myanmar. Please do it now for the protection of the people of Myanmar.
I mean, there have been reports and statements by the UN Human Rights Commissioner about death and torture in detention. I mean, I imagine you have some contacts. What are you hearing of what's happening? In addition to the violence we see on the streets, do you hear word of violence behind bars or behind closed doors?
Yeah, you know, the information that I have is available on the social media. You know, the people, you know, on the street, the people, you know, helpless, and then the way that they kill, the way that they murder, is really brutal. You know, that is why, you know, the brutality that committed by the military is speechless. That is the crimes against the humanity that committed by the military. The international community should stop the act of the brutal act of military regime as immediately. That is what we like to request. Of course, according to the information that we receive, for example, some of the members of the NLD members who arrested, for example, today, and then following day, the family members were asked to bring the body back. When they see the body was really, you know, a lot of, you know, scar on the faces, a scar on the face and the body. So it is very clear that torture taking place not only on the street, but also behind the bar. So right. that is what we believe. So that is really cruel.
Right. I want to ask you as a last question, is there a possible way to dialogue with the military regime? Is this still a possibility? Would this mean that they would have to release Aung San Suu Kyi, other political leaders behind bars? Or do you think there's no way to dialogue with this regime, which is committing crimes against humanity, according to what you just said?
And, you know, I cannot speak on behalf of the military regime, But what I can speak on my behalf and what my colleagues, the people of Myanmar, you know, we always open the dialogue. But whenever we have the dialogue should be the meaningful one. So that means that, you know, before taking any dialogue taking place, all the detainees, our leaders, the Aung San Suu Kyi, President U Win Myint, and other political leaders and the social activists should be released first. That's the way we can have the meaningful dialogue. Otherwise, it will be very difficult. So our demand is very clear. They need to release our leaders first before taking any dialogue, taking place. Right. That is our demand. It is very clear. I think it is very logic and it is meaningful. So that is why we like to ask the military regime to release our leaders immediately.
As a conclusion, there's this kind of ambiguous situation at the UN. The regime wanted to remove you, but you're still there. Are you going to remain the permanent representative of Myanmar, or will you resign because you feel you're representing a regime that you now despise?
No, definitely I'm representing the elected government. I mean the civilian government elected by the people. So I am representing the people of Myanmar. So I will remain as the permanent representative of Myanmar to the United Nations as long as I can until the end of this military coup. That is my resolution. I will remain here. So since you mentioned that is the last question, if I may, I like to end by saying that, you know, the military coup must fail. The democracy must prevail in Myanmar. Our fight will win.
Ambassador Kyaw Moe Tun, I want to thank you very much for being with us here on the France 24 interview from the Myanmar mission to the United Nations in New York. Thank you for watching it.